Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. We are talking Drake music and the major comeback he's made. He has released Iceman and 2 other albums that is burning up the charts right now. But if you ask his haters, they would say that it's subpar music. It's not what it should be and whatever sort of critique they got. But in terms of the numbers, this dude has broken so many records. He broke Michael Jackson's record. He broke Jay-Z's record. So much so that Jay-Z has officially dissed him. I mean, Jay-Z don't normally come out of the box for anybody. And the fact that somehow, some way, this Drake record was one of the things that caused him to go out on a limb and diss a bunch of people at the Roots Festival in Philly, I think he's made a bit of a splash. And there's being said that, it's in the works right now that he is working on a $2 billion deal. If it's not already signed and sealed, he's probably in a position of power when it comes to renegotiating his deal. With that being said, I do want to share some of the critiques of the man's work. Some people will tell you that they're not big fans and that he's somehow underperforming. If you watch the Rick Ross interview with PBD, he was pretty critical of Drake as a whole and trying to downplay his accomplishments. So let's go ahead and share what the streets are saying.
Welcome back to Marcus at Work Media. We got Drake's first week sales for all 3 albums. Iceman coming at 460. Maid of Honor, I believe, is at 114, and then Habiti 109. So collectively, we're a little under 700,000. So of course, all the Drake stands is touting this as a win, a big W for the OVO club. They're saying, listen, the boy is back. Kendrick lost. The battle didn't do nothing. The boy is unscathed. He's still on top. So on and so on.
Okay, let's talk music for a little bit. We just gonna get this out the way now, okay? Kendrick lost. All right? He lost. This was checkmate right here. Your boy dropped 3 albums that peaked at 1, 2, and 3 on the billboards. And not only that, he's out his deal. There's nothing else to talk about, bro.
That's a fact.
He didn't have the Super Bowl hype. He didn't have all of that shit that Kendrick had. That GNX was here today and gone tomorrow. I probably forgot about the album now that I just mentioned it on. But I'm telling y'all, bro, it's over, bro. And those were just the throwaways. I promise you, these were just the throwaways. He's going to hit us with the real album now that he's independent. The game better be ready, bro. It's about to get spooky out here in these streets. Drake is independent. They don't offer this man at least another $500 billion. It's over for him, okay? It's over. He's about to expose the whole industry's hand. You don't need him. You can do this shit independent. He's about to take everybody on tour, including me. It's over. I'm getting the Drake feature. The stimulus is coming. Trust and believe it, okay? The Big Reg and Drake feature is going to happen. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. I'm getting that feature, okay? The stimulus is coming, but this boy killed the game. It's checkmate. Kendrick lost. There's nothing else to talk about. It's over, bro. Okay? It's OVO, whether y'all like it or not. OVO and The Nation. Coming soon. The Nation's my shit. Be on the lookout.
So here's my issue with the Drake stands and their perspective of this. Numbers do not equate to quality. We know this. There's the music and then there's the marketing of the music. There's the music and then there's the brand behind the music. The two are not the same. There are artists that are very talented you would never hear of. And then there's artists that are garbage that everybody hears of. So it's important to remember that that doesn't mean that these albums are great. I'm still standing on they are trash.
I'm going to be real with y'all. These Drake super fans are the reason why Drake doesn't put out better projects, because they don't hold that man accountable. Like, for real, if you really love music, you can't tell me Iceman and the other 2 projects that shall not be named are anywhere close to anything he's ever produced in the past. Like, I get it. You want to see your favorite artist be on the top. And numbers wise, because he dropped 3 albums, he's going to do really well. And they're going to be like, see, the numbers are great. But let's be honest, the music is not good. Like, it's really not about numbers, and it should never be about numbers when it comes to music. But I'm comparing himself to himself right now. I'm talking about when you look at Take Care Drake, when you look at Nothing Was the Same Drake, when you look at If You're Reading This It's Too Late Drake, comparing him to Iceman Drake, to the other 2 projects, again, that I will not name because they suck. There's a big difference. And yet his fans are glazing the project as if it is the greatest thing they've ever heard, when they know damn well this is not a good project. It's bad enough that his own circle won't hold him accountable, but it's the fact that the consumers, I'm talking about really his super fans, are just glazing every single thing he puts out. Y'all are the problem.
So you know what? Maybe I know what the issue is. Ever since Not Like Us, you don't rock with the culture no more. You don't rock with us no more, so you can't hear what we saying when we saying that the numbers don't matter. So let me get somebody outside the culture to break it down for you a little bit better, and maybe you can understand where we're coming from.
As y'all know, Drake dropped 3 albums last week, and all 3 of those things are weak as fuck. I mean, there's only a couple of decent songs across the entirety of the work, and nothing's coming at you hard. There ain't a single fucking banger on any of these 3 albums. But you got the hardcore Drake fans over on Reddit telling us they just need to marinate a little.
This guy is such a hater. Now, first and foremost, who the hell wants to take music advice from this dude? I'm not waiting for this dude to tell me what's cool. The way you can tell if music is good, what are the ladies feeling? If they're playing that Drake on heavy rotation in a club or in a lounge, that's what was going to keep the women keep coming. That's what's going to get the dudes to buy drinks. That's what's going to move the needle. Women liking the music. Having this old geezer tell you that there's no bangers on there, he's not the arbitrator of cool. Nobody's looking to him to determine what's cool and what's hot. So already you could see the hate pouring out of this man's pores. It's crazy.
A bit more. Like they're fucking pork chops or something. People, music is good out of the gate or it's not. Right. Sitting it on a shelf for an amount of time doesn't make it better. What y'all really need to realize is that Drake's run is over. Now, Drake's still gonna be here, but he is a fucking shell of his former self.
Now, this next person made a very good argument. She said Drake is the Taylor Swift of rap, which I would say rap is used very loosely, but I get what she's saying. Just because he got the biggest numbers, the biggest budget, the biggest push, and is known everywhere doesn't mean that is good music.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Drake is the Taylor Swift of rap. Let's have an honest conversation about this. Drake just released 3 albums. And the justification that most Drake fans have is that he is the highest selling, highest grossing rapper of all time, right? Same thing that Swifties say about Taylor Swift. But that doesn't mean that the content, the music that is being put out is actually good. It's just manipulating numbers. And as somebody who watched the rise and fall of Young Money and how they have all become a band of losers, let's really have a conversation about this. I was a senior in high school when So Far Gone came out, right? That mixtape was the launch of Wheelchair Jimmy, Drake's career. It had everybody in a chokehold, myself included. So I was in college during peak Drake era. We're taking a look at
the fact that she's calling him Wheelchair Jimmy clearly indicates that she's a Kendrick Lamar fan. I'm nothing against Kendrick Lamar, but let's just keep it 1,000, man. It's not the same conversation. Like, it's not the same conversation. Like, most Kendrick Lamar fans would probably not like a Drake because the type of music that Kendrick Lamar makes is not the type of music that Drake makes. So it's a different situation.
These albums, right? Thank Me Later, Take Care. I don't care what anybody says. Drake's best album and his last cohesive, good body of work was Nothing Was the Same. And we start to see a shift when we get into, if you're reading this, it's too late, to What a Time to Be Alive. And What a Time to Be Alive was really when we started to see the shift in Drake. So when we're talking about Drake's run, I think of this run from So Far Gone, Thank Me Later, Take Care, to Nothing Was the Same. This was an iconic run. I was in college during this time. But one of the things that Drake did really well, and I think what separated him from rappers at the time, is that he really leaned into the R&B bag, really catering to women. He stole The Weeknd's whole entire flow with Take Care. We all know that Drake has ghostwriters and he doesn't even write his own damn raps. But when we get to What a Time to Be Alive, when he started collabing with Future and started trying to cosplay as a gangster, that's when we saw the shift of the Drake that we knew from So Far Gone. A shift in Drake. Kendrick put it so perfectly.
I'm so sick of this critique of Drake. Oh, he doesn't write his own music. Michael Jackson didn't write his own music. What are we talking about? A lot of artists don't write their own music. Who cares? The point is the delivery of the music. Mariah Carey don't write her own music. A lot of the people that you listening to don't write their own music. Foxy Brown didn't write their own music. 50 Cent wrote a lot of music for a lot of artists. There's a lot of people you don't know. Rick Ross wrote a lot of music for a lot of artists. Like, who cares who wrote the music? The point is, did he deliver it? Was it a banger? Did it actually land? Why is it that you're judging him on a different standard that you judge everybody else? It's weird. It's like saying, well, I can't watch the next Tom Cruise movie because he didn't write his own movie. Who cares? He's an actor in the movie. Who cares? Whether you wrote it or didn't write it, was it a good movie or not? Was it a good song or not? Did it do numbers or not? Do people enjoy the music or not? Period. Half of Puff Daddy's music was written by somebody else. If there was ever anything you like by him, you know what I mean? Like, let's just keep it 1,000. This is a weak critique.
Cosplay as something that he wasn't. And in my opinion, he really lost the plot when he stopped trying to cater to women. And then all the shit started coming out of him being a womanizer, him having inappropriate relationships with all that shit started to come out. So now we get to this current state that we're in now, where this man is releasing 3 albums in one night. And I don't even need to listen to it to know that it's trash. Not one song is trending. Everybody's just talking about, like, what the fuck is this? And it is very smart on Drake's part because he's manipulating the streaming numbers. So even if people love it or hate it, he's still going to get the streams. And that is what his fans are going to hold on to, is like, oh, y'all are, making him trending, even though the music fucking sucks.
And just like the Swifties, OVO Drake stands swear by the numbers as a measure of quality, and that's just simply not the case. So what do you make of this? Are you impressed by these numbers? Does this even matter to the quality? Or are you still standing on that the albums are trash collectively? Or do you feel like, you know what, the numbers have convinced me? I think the albums are much better now. You tell me. Put your comments below. Let's talk about it. This is Marks at Work Media, and
Okay, the man asked a valid question, and I got to give him a valid response. I think the album did a phenomenal job. I'm listening to every song virtually from beginning to end on the album. Some is growing on me, like A Little Birdie grew on me. I like that song a lot. I like that record a lot. I love Burning Bridges. I love Whisper My Name. I mean, there's a lot of bangers on the album. There's maybe 1 or 2 songs I might have skipped. There's a new one I just stumbled upon today that was even better. It's Firm Friends. That one's tough too. Shebang is crazy. Make Them Pay is awesome. Dust, hard. Make Them Cry is good. Janice, Shut the Fuck Up, the best performing one is good. I haven't really gotten into Natural Treasures yet. Bees on the Tables is tough. Plot Twist is tough. It's a strong album. I'd say at least 75 to 80% of the album is tough. You know what I mean? I didn't hear too many mid songs on the album. Now let's just look at what the billboards are saying, because I think it's important to bring in some stats because people are going to talk. We heard from some of his critics. Let's go ahead and see what some of his advocates are saying from a statistic standpoint. Okay, we're going to go to my man right here.
Need to borrow up to $3 million to take your business to the next level? With My Business Loan Companion, qualifying businesses can access the capital they need. No perfect credit, no weeks of paperwork.
Drake's new album, Iceman, will make him over $1 billion. But he didn't just drop an album, he shifted the entire music industry. 3 albums, 43 songs, 17 music videos in one night. And the internet is still trying to catch up. While everyone's talking about the bars or the disses, the real story is what's happening behind the scenes. Because this was not just a comeback. This was a $1 billion chess move that Drake has been working on for 4 years. And this was led by him and his closest friends. I'm going to break down the entire business to you in 5 phases. Phase 1 was analyzing his current deal. In 2022, Drake signed a max contract in his own words.
And I got a contract, it's a max.
But let's break down the clear differences between his old contract versus the one he signed in 2022. There's always mass confusion about what Drake owns versus what Drake doesn't own. So the purpose of this graphic is to show that to you and give you other details about the contract, the ones that are publicly available. All the albums from Thank Me Later up until Scorpion, UMG owns those masters, although they do revert back to Drake after 35 years. This was a traditional record deal. The publishing is largely controlled by the label as well. Drake received an advance from these albums, but that amount is undisclosed. I can't find that information anywhere. When it comes down to touring and merch and all of those things, that is likely within a 360 deal structure. But after Scorpion, Drake signed a massive new deal, which shifted the way that he did business with the label. If you look at any of the credits from these albums, you will see that Cash Money no longer is on there. These albums are licensed directly to UMG. So what that means is Drake owns the music, UMG will license it, and once the record deal is over and Drake recoups the money, Drake will leave with his masters for these albums. When it comes down to publishing, Drake will retain those as well. Now, we do know the advance that he got for this set of albums was $400 million, which was allegedly recouped between 1 to 2 years. While many people, including myself, thought Drake loved this deal, shortly after signing, I think he came to the realization that there were better options available to him. And then what he tried to do was speed up the process and get out of the deal in any way possible.
Treat me like a newborn, Lucian not dropping me. Lucian and me are just like Kobe and Shaquille, but we never even chill.
Now, I always thought these lines were Drake flexing on everybody. Like he's saying Lucian would not drop me. So I took that as a term of endearment. Like, yeah, Lucian and him are tight. They're locked in. Why would Lucian want to drop him? But if you think about it from the perspective of where we're at today, maybe Drake was saying Lucian won't get me out of the deal, or I'm telling him I want to readjust my deal and he won't do it. Then the second bar where he says me and Lucian are like Kobe and Shaquille, but we never even chill. Now Kobe and Shaq built a dynasty. They three-peated. But when did the dynasty end? When the value of both players could no longer coexist. Shaq believed he was the man and he deserved everything. Kobe believed he was the man and he deserved everything. And eventually the two had to split. This may be what Drake was telling us all along, that he has never really been happy with this deal. And all of these things will come back in to connect with the release of Iceman. But we could publicly see things coming to an end for a very long time. I mean, look at these text messages right here. Drake is complaining about touring and saying he needed a break from everything. But even after he said this, he began to release more music and go on more tours. So what this tells me is Drake was trying to burn through his obligations to UMG to get out of the deal. But then when we get to 2023, Drake makes an announcement.
I'll make music for a little bit. I'm going to be real with you. I need to focus on my health first and foremost. And I'll talk about that soon enough. Nothing crazy, but just like, I want people to be healthy in life. And I've been having the craziest problems for years with my stomach. I was just saying what it is. Now I'm saying I'll say it. So I need to focus on my health, and I need to get right. And I'm going to do that.
And right after this announcement, he had no idea he was walking into the catalyst that would change his life for the next 3 years. Not only a battle with Kendrick Lamar, but also a battle with his label. During this whole time, Drake was negotiating a new record deal, and we heard about this in Family Matters. Him and the label could not agree on the dollar amount.
Cause my last record deal was 400 M's. These days, that's a low bar, nigga.
So now this proves he understands the deal he was in, and he wasn't happy. So how does he unroll the next phase of his plan? Phase 2, get out of the deal. After Not Like Us, Drake was certain he couldn't trust the label, not with the money and not with the business. They wouldn't let him go, and they wouldn't pay him what he wanted. So how do you get out? Not Like Us may have been the final nail in the battle, but it was also the last thread that separated Drake from the label for good. UMG put themselves in a bad position because they didn't quite anticipate what Drake would do next. He filed a lawsuit. While many debate that the lawsuit is about Kendrick Lamar or the song was really just adding fuel to an already lit fire. Drake's allegations in the lawsuit gave him the ability to audit the label and also review his contract, all of the fine print. And all the things that he saw there are what allowed him to roll into phase 3, figuring out how to not only get out of the deal, but how to execute the plan.
Stop calling me. You sound like a psycho. I swear to God.
I'm calling you to let you know that we're going to pay off
perfectly. In 2024, Drake began planning this entire rollout, coded in his Finsta plot twist. The first initial post outlined everything that would happen, from the album name to the themes down to the colors. Creators like Faison 1010, Apox, Licensed Drake and Driver, What's the Dirt, and myself all found these posts and decoded them, but I don't think anyone was truly prepared for what actually happened. You see, most people thought these colors of blue, red, and green were coincidences. They thought it was maybe moods or symbols or different set ideas, but they were actually the code that would crack Drake out of the deal. You can go back and look at all of these images and the dates, and you will see this is no coincidence. All of these things that we saw happen with the release of Iceman in episode 4 and these 3 albums are tied into this Instagram page, and I believe the lawsuit as well. What I believed happened is that Drake's lawyers were able to go in and read the fine print of the contract. They also wanted to see other people's contracts on UMG because I believe they wanted to compare and see what were the differences. What were all the obligations that Drake needed to fulfill? When he dropped 100 gigs, I think that that was a test run to see how the label would react. When people talk about Iceman taking so long to come out, I don't think it was because Drake was scared. I don't think it was because he kept scrapping the albums. I believe it's because he needed to methodically plan how to release these sets of albums to make sure that he was out of the deal. Now, remember I said the fine print. There could be lines in it that say collaboration albums don't count. So think about Her Loss. Think about Some Sexy Songs for You. A lot of people told me that Drake was pulling a Frank Ocean. And while you look at that very plainly and simply, I could see why you would say that. But what Frank Ocean did was a bit different. He dropped one album under the label, and then the next day he dropped another album completely independently. Labels realize this and put in addendums into contracts to make sure artists don't do the same thing. So what Drake did was figure out how exactly can I release these albums simultaneously to get out of this deal as quickly as possible. And then I could sit back at the negotiating table and say, give me the deal I want, or I'm going to walk. This brings us to phase 4, which I think Drake alluded to on The Heart Part 6. While most artists rely on a label for marketing budgets, radio relationships, paying their teams, upfront costs, all of those things, Drake did it with his own team. What he just gave us over the past 2 years is proof of concept. I'm the biggest rapper in the world. I just pulled off a 2-year rollout. I did 100 gigs. I did 4 episodes with movie style productions, ice sculptures, multiple brand collaborations, 3 albums, and I did it without the support of the major label. And I even fronted the money myself. Let's listen here.
We're here on the roof where these projectors have just iced out the CN Tower for Drake's new album, Iceman. But you're probably wondering, how did they pull this off?
Projections are live.
They're using 75 projectors, which alone costs $15 million. And the CBC roof is just one location where these are set up. The other two are at ground level around the CN Tower. And this all started just 3 weeks ago when Toronto's Anil Mohabir got a call from Drake's team, also known as Dream Crew. He's done some of these marketing stunts for Drake in the past. Remember this? Yeah, that was him too.
So Dream Crew calls, they had this vision from Drake and they were like, is this even possible? And I, kind of immediately always wanted to say yes. But I'm like, okay, give me a little bit of time. And we kind of came back and I was like, hey, I got a crazy idea. Like, I think we should do the CN Tower. And they were like, yes. And from then on, we jumped right into testing. We had about 3 weeks.
And this project, clearly, was no easy feat. 40 of these projectors were from Canada, but the rest, they had to be shipped from Germany. And some of these projectors needed such special lenses, they were sourced from Dubai. Not only did he figure out how to project this design, but he also helped create it.
We had almost over 300 people touch just this project alone. I like to tell everyone, they've seen a 4K TV before. This one is basically a 13K on each side of the CN Tower.
That's just not a flex. That's showing the label that I can do it without you. And if you don't believe this example, let's listen to the Joe Budden podcast.
Fantastic. Shout out to his production team and videographers and all that shit. That shit was cinema.
He really did a phenomenal job. Because I still feel like this is him. Yeah. I don't feel like UMG has lifted a fucking finger to try to help him.
I think this is him.
I don't feel like they've done anything.
Yeah.
I don't think they helped him carry the ice to the truck.
Nah.
Seriously.
I don't think so.
You're right. So yeah, you got to tip your hat to how he's made this look.
I saw the budgets for some of that shit.
That's some wealthy independence right there.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
But what was
And he's told us this on the album multiple times.
I'm fighting a man, I suing a rapper, you was not listening.
This whole thing is not about a rapper. It is about the label. It is about the contract. It is about what he deserves. This image of the blue, red, and green hard drive should be ingrained in everyone's brain because this is just the culmination of everything he's been working towards for over 4 years. He figured out how to get out of the deal. But getting out of the deal isn't everything. There's one more step to take. You gotta get the money. Now, getting the money won't be easy, but it's possible. Now, even if you don't believe this private equity deal I'm about to describe, Drake's going to make the money regardless because he's going to sign a new contract, whether it's with a label or with PE, and he's going to go on probably the biggest hip hop tour ever. So he's going to make the money. But let's talk about the rumor that there was a $2 billion deal on the table from a private equity firm. Now, this is where things get very, very interesting. Working with the label, you get access to radio, you get access to relationships. That's why people side with them. That's why people sign with them for the advance. But if you go with a private equity company, which is basically just Wall Street money, you're not getting the things that a label typically offers, which means you have to be able to do these things yourself, which is exactly why everything Drake has done over the past 2 years was a test run. It was proof of concept. I don't need the major label for anything. I have my Dream Crew. We can put together all the marketing. I have the financial backing of a private equity firm who can fund some of these things, even though I've done it myself. He's going to the table with all the cards. He's going to come over with the catalog that he owns and all the music that he will make going forward. This is one of the best chess moves I have ever seen.
I'm here to post today about Drake being able to sign $1 billion deal now that he's done with his commitment to Universal Music Group, and you guys have been insulting and saying cap, and some of you guys are actually in the music business, and y'all are too grown and too old to not know the music business, so I'm about to teach you, okay? So the reason Drake has signed $1 billion plus deal with a new label is because he holds all the cards. And what I mean by that is he holds the albums, right? Not the new albums, the old albums. So let me explain to you. The 8 albums he did on the Universal are Certified Lover Boy, Her Loss, Honestly Nevermind, For All the Dogs, Some Sexy Songs for You, Iceman, Main of Honor, and Habibi. 8 albums. Drake's distribution deal with Universal probably has a reversion clause that after a certain period of time, each one of these albums will revert back to his possession. So they will stop making money for Universal and start making money for wherever else he does the deal. So how much money do you think Drake's catalog is going to make over the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years? Plus doing new albums if he decides to do so. Probably $2 billion.
So if you don't believe me, listen to the people who are in the industry themselves. But now is the time where I have a favor to ask. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. And if you're watching on mobile, definitely hype the video to get it into the algorithm. In the comments, I want you to tell me though, what do you think of Iceman?
definitely support my man. He did a very, very informative video, and it tells you all the breakdown leading up to it. To answer his question, love the album. I think it was a well-done album. I think it's going to be on the Billboard's Hot 100 for a long time. And I think this summer is Drake's. I think this summer he's going to turn up with that album. It's already in rotation. The more and more I hear it, the more and more I like it. And it's causing a lot of conversation. The album is going to do well. But what say you? What do you think? I always like to welcome feedback from my audience. So let me know what you think about the album. Is it worth a listen? Is it trash? Tell me what you think. All right. And if you're not connected to the show, definitely like and subscribe and stay connected. All right, guys. Yours truly signing out, Mr. B. Talk to you soon.